crew quarters and I'm talking to my family, I actually get to not only relieve stress by talking to them, but then I'm also looking down at the world as it goes by, and that's a great feeling as well. Over. Yeah, Jared, sleeping is a little bit different up here. If you've had a long day and you remember and you're really tired and you lay down, it feels really good to just kind of get the load off your feet. Well, up here we never have a load on our feet, so you never get that kind of same sensation. So it does always feel like you're floating a little bit, even though you kind of strap yourself down in your sleeping bag. But is it comfortable? Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Not too bad at all. Over. Yes, that's the most important thing we do when we go out on a spacewalk, and so we always have to be attached by 2 points, and so when we first go out the door, we put down what we call a safety tether, and that goes with it's a big reel that as we're moving around station, it reels out this long cable, and then the other point of contact is always our hands, or once we get to a work site, we can put down another safety tether, or waist tether, to make sure we have those 2 points of contact always with station. Over. Unbelievable, and yes, our training did a great job of getting us ready for that, but we can't simulate what it's actually like, the G-loads and just the vibrations and all that. It's really hard to simulate that, so you just do sim practice again and again, and so the procedures you're pretty familiar with, but then the actual feeling is something that you can only experience on the launch itself. Over. So my preferred exercise on Earth is basically lifting weights and running, and yes, I can do both of those on ISS. We do have a treadmill, and we have a weightlifting device that uses the vacuum, basically a cylinder that we take to vacuum, and we can pull against that vacuum, and it works really well. We can do all the normal lifts like squats and deadlifts and bench press, etc. Over. That's a funny question. So, one of the things about microgravity in space is the simple things become hard, and that is definitely one of them. It can always be a little bit messier up here in the microgravity environment. Do you get used to it? Yes. But I think that is one of the things that I'm not going to miss whenever I have to come back to Earth, and that's having to use the toilet facility up here. Over. What a wonderful question. We actually have a lot of fun going on station right now. We've got peas, we've got basil, we've got pak choy, we've got mustard. And so, if I had my choice, anything that's edible would be my first choice, but then I'd also love to be able to grow a flower while I was up here and take it home to my wife afterwards. Over. Very fortunate I've never had a malfunction with our spacesuits, but today we are actually doing a leak check on our spacesuits for the 2 that are going to go on spacewalks this weekend, and we didn't pass one of the leak checks, so we did have to just troubleshoot, and one of the things that means is you just take piece by piece off and just verify that there's nothing that's stuck in between the seals or that nothing that's broken. Over. Probably the biggest impact COVID-19 had on our space travel was the before and the after. So before